Hey everyone, my name's Tomatoanus, also known as Petite Pecorino, and this is a segmented, silent assassin suit-only speedrun of Hitman 3. This run is performed by HOUSEN, the current world record holder for this category, who also helped me write the script to make sure it's all as accurate as possible. If you'd prefer to watch either this run without commentary or HOUSEN's current world record, they're both linked in the description. So this game is the third installment in the World of Assassination trilogy, which also consists of Hitman 2016 and Hitman 2. Each game is considered to be a release of a new season of missions, with the first game being Season 1, the second being Season 2, and the third being Season 3. Hitman 3 is where all the Season 3 missions originate and is a single-player stealth game where you play as Agent 47 through a series of missions where you're given a target or targets to take out. Each mission is an open-ended sandbox that you can freely explore with various means of assassination, some of which are a bit more flavorful than others. This video specifically covers a speedrun of all main missions from the Season 3 campaign, from On Top of the World to Untouchable, and does not include missions added later via DLC. This run requires you to get the highest rating, Silent Assassin, on each individual mission, which requires you to only kill targets / prevent non-target kills, not get spotted, have no witnesses, not get caught on camera unless you destroy the footage, and have no bodies found unless their targets killed by accidents or poison. You have the ability to wear disguises to sneak into restricted areas and not be noticed by certain individuals, but the second part of the name for this category is suit only, meaning you aren't allowed to change what you're wearing mid-mission. You gotta stick with whatever outfit you start the mission in. Also, real quick, we here at Tomatoanus have covered the same run of Hitman 2016 and Hitman 2, both of which are available for viewing on this channel. They're not at all necessary to watch before watching this one though, just figured I'd give anyone unaware a heads up. Alright, with all that covered, let's get in.
Oh hey Chicago guy, where's your time machine jacket?
Oh, it's at the cleaners this week. Did so much jumping through time that it hadn't been washed in something like 5,000 years. What are you up to?
I'm making my signature drink, a tequila whiskey vodka. Secret family recipe that pairs great with tater tot hot dish.
Can't wait to have some.
You don't get any.
Oh.
Anyways, I've also been playing Raid Shadow Legends.
Why did you keep your hand behind your back, and how did you do that?
Dramatic effect.
How are you doing that? Are you okay, man?
Never better, since Raid feels like playing a video game version of a blockbuster movie squeezed into my mobile telephone. The game has almost 700 champions to play as, including the new faction called the Sylvan Watchers. Forest elves, spooky tree spirits, living rock monsters, they've got it all. The Sylvan Watchers made their home in a huge jungle east of Teleria called the Mistwood, and if you try to visit them there, they'll probably kill you for trespassing if the beasts don't do it first.
I think there might be a gas leak or something, dude. We should probably get you some help.
Also, new players from the US can take part in the Champions Elect event, where they can vote on their favorite starter champion between now and February 10th. Eligible entrants have the opportunity to win prizes like epic and legendary champions, in-game items, and even Amazon gift cards.
Hey Minnesota guy, I think I figured out that Zoom thing.
Looking good, Chicago guy.
Hey, did you know that new players can use the link in the description or scan the QR code to get a free starter pack with this in-game loot? And also that Ronda Rousey is in the game now, and you can get her by logging into Raid for at least 7 days before February 20th.
You betcha, and in-game you can enter the promo code RAIDRONDA to get a bunch of useful in-game items to help her level up.
That's awesome. I can't stop doing this Zoom thing now though, it's so addicting.
Same.
So the first level of the run, On Top of the World, takes place in Dubai and, to put it lightly, has a lot going on in a super short span of time. It's so short that I'm actually going to let it play out first, then I'll go back and explain everything, and we'll then watch it again with our newfound understanding.
You got him, 47. Marcus Stuyvesant won't be a problem anymore. Let's move on to Carl. We're not done.
Alright, so where to even start? The two targets for this mission are Carl Ingram and Marcus Stuyvesant ... In the World of Assassination trilogy, NPCs move around during the start of level cutscenes, with time spent in the cutscene not counting towards your mission timer. Because of this, speedrunners often let a bit of the cutscenes play out before skipping at a specific moment so that NPCs are in ideal spots for the mission. For this mission specifically, HOUSEN lets most of the cutscene play out, with him skipping it as late as he can after the camera position changes here. Part of Carl's routine on this level includes him turning his head, which acts as a visual cue for when a guard near him moves away. HOUSEN has to wait for Carl to turn his head in order to shoot him so that the guard doesn't witness the murder, and the longer he spends in the cutscene, the less time he has to spend waiting for Carl to turn his head. Worth noting though that he can't just let the cutscene play out in its entirety. Marcus walks into a room at the end of the cutscene, and if he makes it into that room, then he won't be lured by some shots HOUSEN is going to fire in a moment, so the timing on skipping the cutscene is a balance between being as late as possible so he doesn't have to wait as long for Carl, but early enough so that Marcus doesn't go into the room. As soon as he skips the cutscene and gains control, he pauses over and over while moving his camera to aim in this corner up here where he fires a shot. The purpose of the shot is to stop a guard near Marcus from walking any farther, but he has to be sure to shoot in the seam of the wall, otherwise the shot will land close enough to Marcus that it'll alert him as well, which we don't want. HOUSEN pauses a lot while aiming to this spot, which he finds makes the strat more consistent while also not wasting any time since level timers don't tick while the game is paused. This, believe it or not, is called pause buffering. You may be recalling how a requirement for the Silent Assassin rating requires you to not get spotted, and firing a gun in a crowded lobby while half naked seems a bit antithetical to this goal. Thankfully, there's a piece of tech in this game called gun flashing, which is where you take out a gun and fire it while an NPC is looking at you, which can sometimes result in a state of blindness where they don't notice you, and you don't lose the Silent Assassin rating. It's not entirely understood why gun flashing works, but it seems to be more related to the action of firing the gun than to wherever the bullet goes. Anything beyond that isn't really understood, but just because it's not understood doesn't mean you can't take advantage of it. Worth mentioning as well, you can tell whether or not you still have the Silent Assassin rating by looking here. These green crossed guns signify that you still have the rating. So after the shot into the corner to turn around Marcus's guard, HOUSEN shoots another one on the wall here below the railing. If a target is standing within a certain radius of one of their guards and they hear a bullet, they'll turn to their guard and ask them to go investigate. When HOUSEN fired the first shot into the corner, Marcus and his guard were walking near each other, but the shot distracted the guard and caused him to stop walking while Marcus kept walking. This puts him far enough away from the guard so that when the second shot lands, he'll go to investigate the shot near the railing himself. HOUSEN then shoots at this wall near some guards 3 times, which is something called a triple shot panic. When you shoot a wall near guards 3 times, it sends them into triple panic where they begin running towards where the shots came from. This is super important here because it sends the guards up there away from where Marcus is, meaning they won't find his soon-to-be corpse. He follows this up by shooting 2 golden pillars, which turns around 2 guards so that they don't see him when he's about to shoot Marcus and Carl. He then walks forward and hits a 720 on Marcus when he's isolated before then turning his attention to Carl. The 2 ridges/black lines in the molding below Carl are actually small gaps you can shoot through, so HOUSEN doesn't have to worry about moving back to be able to hit Carl's head, and he can just shoot him in the pooper. He waits a moment to shoot Carl though because, again, there's a guard up there that's looking right at him who would spot the body. But like I mentioned before, the guard up there moves away at the same time as Carl moving his head. With when HOUSEN skips the cutscene at the start of the mission, this usually syncs up with the 13-second mark in the level timer. After taking out Carl, he runs to the exit, and something to note about exits in this game is that they're typically inaccessible during the mission, but they open up exactly 3 seconds after the last target is killed. Since he took out Carl at the 13-second mark, that means the exit will open up at some point when the timer reads 16 seconds. HOUSEN wants to interact with the exit the moment it becomes available, so he pause buffers as he approaches the exit. In addition to the pause buffering, he's going to do something called a fast interact. When you interact with things in this game, you normally have to hold down G until the interact circle fully fills up. However, if you pull up the inventory, which HOUSEN has bound to 1, and then press G to interact while in the inventory closes and the interaction finishes immediately. So to do it quickly, HOUSEN pretty much spams G and 1 whenever he has to fast interact. This saves anywhere from a few milliseconds to a second each time you do it, and he'll be doing it a lot throughout the run, such as whenever he leaves a mission. So he pause buffers and fast interacts to leave this mission as soon as the exit is available, letting him wrap up the mission with a final time of 16 seconds rather than the lowly time of 17 seconds. Alright, let's see this whole mission play out again at full speed.
You got him, 47. Marcus Stuyvesant won't be a problem anymore. Let's move on to Carl. We're not done. We got him, 47. Soon there will be no more problems.
The second mission brings us to Dartmoor, where our goal is to take out Alexa Carlisle and also to retrieve a case file. For this mission, HOUSEN chooses his starting location to be behind the mansion, but he chooses the fast-forwarded version of it. In this mission, the Carlisle clan have a family meeting, and that takes up some time. The game has unlockable starting locations though, and 2 of them have this fast-forward symbol on them. When you start the mission with either of these fast-forwarded locations, the mission begins after the family meeting has ended, meaning the Carlisle clan are already on their post-Carlisle convention routes. Their post-meeting routes are a lot more convenient for the speedrun, so HOUSEN chooses to use this fast-forwarded starting location so that the mission just begins with them already in good spots, rather than having to wait for the family meeting to take place. There's a lot that happens right at the start of this mission, so let's go over it beforehand real quick. When he loads into the mission, HOUSEN lets the full cutscene play out so that Alexa and a butler are in better positions. Right away, he'll go behind a pillar and do something called Rebecca Lure by shooting 2 shots right here. This panics a guard and causes him to walk around the room he's in, which freaks out Rebecca and causes her to run outside near a door, which is great positioning. He'll then shoot a couple NPCs with what's called a stored shot, which is done by going into instinct, left-clicking, then right-clicking. There's a chance when you shoot that Agent 47 will get stuck in a glitch state where you can't aim or run. The glitch state is caused when you hold left click for too long after firing, so in stored shots, since you right click to fire the shot, it prevents any chance of that accidentally happening. He'll then shoot these NPCs in the body, which effectively blinds them so they don't see him trespassing. I alluded to this earlier, but when you either triple shot panic or body shot a guard, an invisible circle is drawn around Agent 47. If a guard you panicked or shot sees you inside the radius of this circle, they'll open fire and you'll lose the silent assassin rating. As long as you're outside of this circle though, while the guard you shot or panicked is looking at you, you're free to trespass since guards can't comprehend that someone might move to a different place after they shoot. Alright, back to the run. Again, he lets the full cutscene play out so that Alexa and a butler end up in a better spot, then runs up to a pillar and shoots twice to do Rebecca Lure. HOUSEN is then going to shoot a guy in the leg, blinding him to our trespass while he stands up normally like nothing happened, and shoots another NPC as he sneakily runs past barefoot. Up here, he shoots the glass on the door to turn around 2 NPCs, and then shoots Alfred Pennyworth with a tranquilizer bullet while staying to the right so Alfred doesn't see him and become an unconscious witness. HOUSEN holsters his gun so the staff don't see it and compromise him, then grabs the intel token off Alfred and shoots a distraction shot to stop an NPC from walking under a chandelier. He hides behind this wall here so Alexa doesn't see him and panic, shoots the chandelier down when she's under it to take her out, then pause buffers and shoots some glass here to distract Rebecca before shooting her with an ambient bullet to retrieve the case file.
The Edwards file. Where's the other one?
Outside, he fires a quick shot at a hearse to distract the guards near it and will then fast interact with the hearse under a guard's nose to exit the level undetected, case file in hand and Alexa dead. Also, speaking of Alexa, headphone warning real quick. Pause and swap to speakers if you have them. Alexa, order Morton table salt non-iodized salt 25 pounds from Amazon. Okay, headphone warning is over. You can go back to using them now. The third mission, Apex Predator, brings us to Berlin, where our goal is to eliminate at least 5 ICA agents, of which there are 11 wandering the level. As part of the setup for this level, HOUSEN chooses to have a sniper smuggled in a briefcase which he'll be able to retrieve during the mission. He lets the whole cutscene play out to start the mission so that NPCs are all in better spots, and he'll go through the door right in front of him behind the counter when he gains control. You normally can't go through this door without being caught trespassing, but if you open and go through the door while slowly turning the camera to the left, you sort of glide through the doorway and get through before the detection meter fills up. He does a fast retrieve by crouching when he interacts with the briefcase to take out the sniper almost instantly and picks the lock on this door with it. He's again going to do a really clean turn at the proper speed as he goes through this door so Agent 47's movement doesn't stutter, climbs up this ledge, then runs up some more stairs. He does a quick shot to distract a guard and then runs up behind this ICA agent before stealthily taking him out. He shoots over here to distract and lure Agent Swan to a secluded area and will fire another shot to distract this nearby guard. He's going to pull up his inventory in a second to get out the remote concussive ducky, and when he does, he'll do what he calls a strafe cancel. If you press A or D to strafe just before entering your inventory, you avoid the chance of Agent 47 stuttering for a moment and being unable to run. If you watch closely, you can actually see him do this with how Agent 47 turns briefly before entering the inventory. He'll then toss the remote concussive ducky over the edge down towards a pizza guy below, then shoot this sandbag thing which falls on and kills an agent who's standing under it. He'll follow this with a particle boost by tossing this violin down, which breaks breaks the violin and causes its particles to lift him up onto the rail. On the rail, he'll take out Agent Swan, who was lured to the secluded area, and then another agent in the building on the left. The pizza guy will be looking at the ducky down below while Housen takes out his 5th agent. He'll then drop down onto this wall and then the ground before detonating the concussive ducky to knock out the pizza guy so Housen can take his moped key. He'll crouch before and while interacting with the key to be able to interact with the door immediately to head to the moped, where he'll fast interact to finish the mission.
Agent Green, are you still there?
Man.
Opposite down. He's sharp, so he's sharper. Agent Swan, are you still there?
Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time, 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 pizza time.
The next mission brings us to Chongqing, where Housen makes sure that his sniper for the mission is the Viper. This is because he's going to have to body shot NPCs from far away without killing them, and the Viper sniper will do just that, while the Ghost sniper he's been using up until now kills them no matter what. The targets for this mission are Thomas Elliott and Imogen Royce, and to start the mission, Housen will skip the cutscene almost immediately, run backwards and crouch so an NPC won't see him shooting, then pause buffer to shoot a drone that's flying around. Shooting the drone makes Imogen angry for story reasons and changes the pattern of her and her guard. He then fast retrieves the Viper sniper from the briefcase and begins making his way across the sopping wet level without any shoes or shirt. But hey, at least he doesn't have any problems. After climbing up this pipe and ledge, he's going to climb up another pipe and run up a short staircase onto a platform where he'll use the Viper sniper to shoot the corner of a window to send Thomas Elliott into lockdown and run onto a balcony. He'll then shoot near the window twice more to make a guard start running towards us before turning his attention back to Thomas, whom Housen body shots to make fall in place but not die yet. He then body shots the two guys inside so they freeze up in place and don't wander to the balcony to find Thomas. He shoots through this grating he's on with his pistol to triple shot panic some guards below him so they don't spot him on his way down, then takes the Viper sniper back out and 360s Thomas to kill him. He'll shoot twice through this window that doesn't have collision to turn around a guard near Imogen, and then wallbanger through a wall that doesn't have collision either, so I guess he just bangs her. Wait, that's not appropriate. He'll then do what's called a fast throw with a muffin, where by crouching, throwing, and uncrouching, the muffin is thrown almost instantly. He uses this muffin to do a particle boost to climb over these railings and drop down to a roof below, where an exit opens up that he'll fast interact with to leave the level.
Good. That's both targets down. I just need to override this, and I'm in. You can get out now and I can take care of the data remotely. Unless you want to handle it yourself.
The penultimate mission, The Farewell, brings us to Mendoza, Argentina, where our targets are Don Archibald Yates and Tamara Vidal, while also having to figure out the allegiance of Diana Burnwood. Real quick story catch up, mute the video until this image of Agent 47 goes away if you'd like to avoid spoilers. In the previous games, we've been working both for and against a group called Providence, who control most of the world's affairs. In this game, we're working together with our handler, Diana Burnwood, and our childhood friend / former assassin, Lucas Gray, to take out the people controlling Providence, along with dismantling the agency we used to work for, ICA, whose operational data we just made public after the previous mission. The remaining person in control of Providence is named Arthur Edwards, and he's attempting to turn our handler, Diana, against us by revealing that we killed her parents. Going into this mission, we're taking out Don Yates and Tamara Vidal since they're Diana's only opposition to taking over Providence, which is a thing Arthur's trying to make happen, and in addition to taking them out, we're also trying to figure out if Diana is still truly on our side or if she's now working with Arthur. So for this mission, Housen is back to using the Ghost sniper rifle and also equipped some coins in his loadout. He's going to let the full cutscene play out since he needs to wait for Don Yates, and once he gains control, he'll equip the coins in Yoss's briefcase onto a limo to set off its alarm. This will get the attention of Tamara and stop her in place, and he'll then drop a coin near the front of the limo to have the chauffeur investigate it, and drop a second coin at the back of the limo near Tamara, which she investigates herself since the chauffeur is busy, pulling her closer to the back of the car. Housen will then shoot the limo twice through a bush, which blows it up and counts as an accidental limo explosion kill on Tamara. He'll then run past these cacti to a cliff where he'll scope in and shoot Don Yates across the level and time it out so that he shoots him after he's passed through a door and turned a corner while his 2 guards are still coming up the stairs before the door. If you kill him with this timing, the guards stop following him since he's now dead, and they don't go through the doorway, meaning they don't ever round the corner and find his dead body, and they just stand there, waiting forever. HOUSEN then has to wait longer than the 3 seconds for the exit to open because in this mission, the exits open at some point while Diana Burnwood runs to a specific exit. So after waiting for that, he's able to fast interact with this car to leave the mission, which is actually an exit that was added to the game more recently by IOI due to popular demand for an exit in this area since there wasn't one before. Not sure if that counts against the silent assassin rating or not. Oh, okay, we're all good. So while HOUSEN gets set up for the final mission, I'd just like to say I hope you're all doing well. If you're not, I'd just like to remind you, as always, that there is a tomorrow and you will be here for it. Whatever is going on, it cannot take that away from you. Overwhelming feelings of dread or despair are not permanent, and there will be a day when they no longer hang over you. There are brighter days ahead, and when you're there, you'll be able to look back and see that how you were feeling was simply that, how you were feeling, rather than something that defines who you are or were. Just please always remember, no feeling is final. Back to the run, the final mission, Untouchable, brings us to the Carpathian Mountains in Romania, where our target is Arthur Edwards, who's at the very front of a train while we start closer to the back. When he enters this first train car up here, he's going to glide through the second door he opens like how he did in Berlin, and then grab a suppressed SMG. He's going to use this gun to triple shot panic into the next room, which leaves all the guards wondering where he could be as he runs past them and grabs a muffin off a table as he passes by. After swapping back to the SMG, he triple shot panics into the next room again to run past the guards, swaps to the muffin while doing so, and goes through a door that was locked but opened by a panicked guard where he force feeds this dude the muffin. He gun flashes to triple shot panic the guards in this hallway, which sometimes just doesn't work, and he'll do another triple shot panic in the next car where he'll run through a guard. Normally you can't run through NPCs in this game unless you set up a glitch called NPC clipping. If you run towards and into someone for 3 seconds, you kinda clip into them, and if you pause and restart the mission, it disables collision with NPCs, which lasts until you close the game. This is something that's set up before the run, which is allowed by the Hitman 3 speedrunning community, and is something HOUSEN did before recording this segment for the video, but pretty much he has no collision with NPCs right now and won't until he closes the game. So after doing the triple shot panic, when he runs through the dude, he'll grab a shotgun off the table. He's going to swap back to his SMG as he makes his way outside up ahead, where he's going to body shot a guy so that he doesn't hear us blast open a door with the shotgun, and he's also going to grab a fuse cell on the ground. He pause buffers as he triple shot panics with a shotgun here so that he can aim more carefully to try and shoot a guy who's outside the other side of the train car. He picks up another fuse cell while running past these panicked guards and inserts one into the panel here to flashbang the guards. He grabs an icicle here next to this stunned guard, and in the next room he'll fast throw it to the side to distract Harry and Lloyd so he can grab a crowbar. Back outside, he flashbangs this group of guards by inserting the other fuse cell into a panel, and after climbing on this tank up here, he's going to pull out the crowbar just before and as he falls, so the animation of taking out the crowbar skips the vaulting down animation. Inside, he does the fast throw with the crowbar to take out this guard, and then does a triple shot panic into the next car and fires into the one past it at the same time to panic some civilian NPCs. After running past all these panicked NPCs, he'll be approaching the front of the train, where he does a fast interact to pull a lever and detach the rest of the train, which starts a cutscene he immediately skips. After going through this car then, he triggers another cutscene which he skips again, and then sits on the inventory screen for 4 seconds before injecting Arthur Edwards with the poison, which for some reason circumvents a cutscene from potentially becoming unskippable at random, which is bad since this particular cutscene adds time to your timer. This officially ends the run. So if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much on behalf of both myself and HOUSEN. Hitman 3 and the World of Assassination trilogy as a whole are just bananas, and I love how well their sandbox nature lends itself to speedruns and routing. If you're interested in watching more runs of this game and seeing runs of other seasons, then head on over to speedrun.com and use that search bar. I'd also like to take a moment to say thank you to HOUSEN for helping make this video. It would not have been possible without him. He was so helpful and kind through making the video and was just a treat to work with. Be sure to check out his YouTube and Twitch channels for more content, links are in the description. Additionally, thank you so much to everyone who supports the channel on Patreon. These videos would not be possible without your support. If you want to support the channel monetarily, then for as little as $1 a month, you get access to videos early, access to polls where you can submit and vote on runs to be featured in future videos, updates on videos as they're being made, and more. Supporting the channel monetarily is entirely unnecessary though, so don't feel like it's something you have to do unless you're okay with buying me 2/3 of a container of Tic Tacs every month. At least that's how much Tic Tacs cost near me. Anyways, again, thank you to you patrons, you mean so much. And lastly, as always, be sure to check out the tomatoanus Discord server. It's a super laid-back server where, despite it being centered around a speedrunning YouTube channel, you can talk about really whatever. The people there are super kind and supportive and always welcoming of new faces. That's all for this video though. This was a Silent Assassin suit-only speedrun of Hitman 3. I've been tomatoanus, and I hope you have an above-average day.